we are gonna do a tier list on all the classes of Hardcore Classic. Okay, yeah, elephant in the room. I am not an expert in Hardcore Classic, but I like to believe that I know Vanilla very damn well. Okay, that's my credentials. And I think it's gonna be really interesting for me to see in a couple months from now, after doing the Hardcore Challenge, if my opinion on these classes changes. We're gonna do a little tier list, a combination of fastest and safest classes to level up in vanilla, okay? We start with the Druid. That's a reasonable class, you know, not particularly fast at leveling, not particularly strong, and not particularly safe, but it is pretty simple and it's decent. You got heals, you got a couple resources. We're gonna slap it on B. Okay, we got the Hunter. I got no way to put it in another way. Everybody knows the Hunter is the ultimate solo leveling class. I mean, come on, you just have everything possible to solo mobs, solo quests, solo mobs that are stronger than you. You have a button to feign death that prevents you from losing. You get in trouble, you just and you are out of trouble. Is the best class for soloing anything in the game, and as such, it is probably the best hardcore class. Okay, I'm gonna give you one that is gonna be a little more controversial though, and that is Mage. I consider Mage to be almost as good, if not as good, as the Hunter. That's why I play a Mage all the time. Why? Because you never face them off, okay? If you're fighting melees, you never take damage. If you're fighting casters, you got dampen magic and that makes them weaker. Not only that, you can AoE farm, and people tell me all the time like AoE farming is dangerous. It is a little dangerous, but if you're not greedy, if you pull the right amount of mobs, if you don't pull more mobs than you need to pull, that is usually a very reliable method and it's very fast. And that avoids, like, you remember, okay, we're playing hardcore. The server is like 300, 600 people. It's not a packed server, okay? That means you're usually gonna have like all the freaking mobs for yourself, all the good spots for AoE farming. You're probably gonna have them. And that was the one limiter for like AoE leveling back in Classic, like the competition. You're probably gonna have very little competition in all of this, and that makes AoE leveling extremely effective. Is it the easiest? No. But it can be the fastest. Especially for the challenge we're doing now. By the way, we're doing a no questing challenge, 0 quests, and that's why I chose a mage, because once we hit level 14, we're gonna be able to just AoE grind mobs, and that's gonna make it viable. Otherwise it's gonna be hell, you know what I'm saying? Okay, the Paladin. Oh, the Paladin. You got bubble. You can be immune to damage for a few seconds. You got a stun. You got some cool buffs. You got self-heals. And no damage. It's trash. I hate the Paladin. I hate leveling a Paladin. It's super weak. In TVC it becomes one of the best classes to level with in the game. And yes, I know that if you have access to dungeons outside of hardcore, you can do like insane AoE pulls with the whole safe spotting thing. Like you probably saw that video of the guy soloing the crocodiles in Sulgurov. We're not gonna do that though, because in hardcore you cannot do that. You can only do a dungeon once. So yeah, we're not gonna do that one. It is a D, a straight up D. Priest. That one is interesting. Priest is a very self-reliable class. It has a lot of armor. It is deceptively tanky, right? You got self-heals. Once again, you got a shield that makes you immune to daze and that removes the pushback from spells. You have a talent that gives you more damage with wands, and that makes you very deadly when you're in the discipline spec early on. You got a lot of damage that you shouldn't have, and that damage doesn't cost you any mana, so you can be almost full mana all the time if you manage it correctly. And for that, we're gonna give the priest an A. Hey! Alright, Rogue. I gotta be honest with you, Rogue is probably the class I know the least in vanilla in general. But we're gonna do something different, okay? We're gonna extrapolate. I would say the Rogue is a little easier than the other melees. And for that reason, we're gonna give it a C. You got Vanish, you can be safely get away. You have decent damage early on. It falls off later on. Like after level 30, I would say that a warrior does more damage than you. But early on, you are pretty strong and reliable, pretty much out of the box. And you got Vanish. You're more or less safe in that regard. You got an emergency button. You got Sprint. That's also very useful for running away. Not the greatest, but it's decent. Okay, Shaman. I love the Shaman. I played Shaman so many times you could not comprehend. You got Frost Shock, that allows you to kite with a proper swing timer, and that like makes you a lot more efficient. You got Magma Totem, you got Nova Totem, you got Earthbind Totem, and AoE Slow, that is so useful. You got Self Heals once again, but nothing too impressive, nothing too awesome. Like you cannot compete with a Priest, for example, in the leveling regard. We're gonna give this guy a B. Okay, the Warlock. The Warlock has a name in the vanilla community for leveling, for speedrunning, okay? The Warlock's name is Walmart Hunter. It's still very good, but it's a Walmart Hunter. You do everything the Hunter can do, a little worse. You do not have feint death, your pets are a little weaker. If you do too much damage, you pull aggro off your Voidwalker, so you gotta do this annoying technique of wanding many mobs at once. But it is one of the best, and nobody can deny that. And the last one, the Warrior. This one is a little complex. The Warrior can be one of the worst specs in the game, and it can also be one of the best melees in the game. I won't say it's one of the best, obviously it's still a Warrior, you know? You got your limitations. Many people will say that a Warrior doesn't become a real class until level 34. I disagree. I barely use Whirlwind at level 34, that's why they say that, by the way. You get Whirlwind at level 34, an instant attack that does weapon damage. I barely use it early on. Do you wanna know why? All those theory crafting boys, they wanna go Fury for leveling. Because my 5% crit, my 5% crit, they say. Okay, son, I gotta say 2 words, and it's gonna change your mind. Sweeping strikes. You get that ability on you. You get that ability on you, and you can apply every hit to a secondary target. So you think, oh, so I pull 2 mobs and I hit that mob twice? No, because it stacks with cleave. Okay? So if you have cleave and sweeping strikes on you after banking rage from one mob that you fought, you will hit quadruple auto attacks. Every auto attack you have, it doubles as cleave and as sweeping strikes. So you hit the same auto attack 4 times every time you hit one. Okay? Many people do not understand this. It is one of the best classes in the game. Like after level 30, it becomes like really strong. And now, the only reason that we're not gonna give this guy tier A, obviously, is because we also gotta be fair. You got 0 safety, your only lifeline is Intimidating Shout and AoE Fear, which is unreliable on its own because you pull other mobs, it's dangerous, and Piercing Howl and AoE Slow if you wanna go Fury. Please do not go Fury, it's bad. So yeah, you are pretty much screwed. You are a very unsafe class, it's pretty bare bones, it is kinda boring. You know, some people find it boring, I understand. You know, just because you do really good damage after level 34, that doesn't mean that the other levels are not hell. They are hell. You got no self-healing, and no lifeline, no nothing. And for that reason, we're gonna give the Warrior... is it gonna be B or C? Do I got a coin on me? No, I don't got a coin. I got this router, okay? I got this old router. Let's throw this router, okay? If we got this one, is B. If we got this one, is C. B. There you go. We got B for the Warrior. Yeah. We're gonna look at this thing, okay? Bookmark this video. We're gonna revisit this after me doing the hardcore quest, hopefully with a lot of classes. We're gonna do the hardcore challenge, and we're gonna see if my opinion changes, because it might, it probably will change. But I think this is a pretty good insight on what you're gonna expect, okay? Like, I don't know much about the hardcore challenge on my own, but I played almost every class. I didn't play Rogue and Hunter too much in vanilla, but I played all the other classes to 60 many times for some of them. I want to believe, man. I know I'm gonna get destroyed. I know people are gonna say I'm not. But I want to believe that, I like to believe that I know vanilla very well. West Coast, see me on Twitch.